So now I want to show the income and the expense of the person's transactions. Okay, so let's actually do this. So let's create a new component and call it income expense. So income expense .js, and we'll do RFC to create a React functional component, because this doesn't involve Redux, so we don't really need a class component. So let's go to main.js and let's import this income expense. We'll do it above the transactions list. So we'll do income expense, and then it will automatically import it for us. And let's close this. And all we need to do is we're going to be checking the income and checking the expense inside the component. So we'll just pass in the transactions, so we can check it over there. So transactions, and then if we go to income expense, we can receive this with object destructuring. So transactions. Just like I said, you can receive it as props and then do props.transactions, or receive it as props and do object destructuring over here, or you can just do object destructuring over here. Okay. Okay, so we need done on this application, we just need to finish up this component. So let's go ahead and do that. So we need to, first I'm going to actually display the HTML stuff. So for this div, before I actually split them up into income and split the transactions up to expense and receive the expense and the income. So let's actually do this. So class name, this is a style that I have. So let's do inc so income and expenses. So we'll just do inc exp container. That's what I've called it. So just do that, and then we'll have a div for the income and a div for the expenses. So let's do the income first. So h4, and this would say income, and then we're going to have a paragraph. This is going to be for the actual income, how much it is. For now I'm just going to put like a dummy data. So class name, I'm going to give it some styling, which is money plus. So money and then plus, the plus is for green and the money is some styling. And okay, so inside here we would put the income, but for now I'm just going to put some dummy data. So I'm just going to put like 10 plus 10, for example, and plus $10 actually. And I'm going to copy this div for the expenses as well. So expense is okay. So expenses, and then we'll have money minus, not money plus, and we'll just do minus $10 instead of plus. Okay, so now let's see how this looks. So as you can see, it's looking very nice. We just need to replace these with the actual income and the actual expense. So right now the income is actually 0 and the expense is minus 40. So let me delete this. So now they should all be 0. As you can see, the balance updated. So I'll add the income and add some transactions later. For now, actually, I'll just add some right now. So the rent is going to be an expense. So I'll do minus, for example, 1,000, and that will do minus $1,000 and the rent. And for income, I'll do, for example, job, and let's say I received $3,000, and add that as transaction, as income. Okay, so now the income should be 3,000 and the expense should be minus 1,000, and the balance is 2,000 because 3,000 plus minus 1,000 is $2,000. So now let's calculate the income and calculate the expenses. Okay, so over here, let's have a const for income. So const income is equal to. So for the income, what I want to do is first I want to get the amount actually. So const amount, just like we done with the balance, I think. Yes, the balance. Let's remove this constant log. Actually, I don't need this. So just like I done here, I'm gonna copy this. Sorry, go to income expense. And actually, let's delete this part. Okay, so there we go. So I'll explain this again. So the amount is going to be equal to, we're going to loop over all the transactions, and then we'll just return the transaction amount. So the amount would pretty much be an array of the transaction amounts. Okay, so now the income is going to be equal to the amount.filter. So we're going to filter all the amounts, and we'll just get the ones that are bigger than 0, because they are positive and they are the income. So amount.filter, and we'll receive them as items, and then item, sorry, so item, and then we'll filter it based on, so if item is bigger than 0, then it will be returned item, yeah, so because this item is the amount. And now after I filter them, so now I have all the amounts that are positive, so they are the income amounts. After that I want to add them all up, so I want to do dot reduce, and just like we did inside balance, we added up all the amounts. Now I just want to add up the income, the filtered ones, so I'll do reduce and then arrow function the ACC and then the item, and this would be an arrow function, and we'll return the ACC plus the item. So, and then the initial value of the ACC would be 0. We want to start off from 0. I did Option Shift F to make this code neater, or Alt Shift F for Windows. And now I want to do the same thing for the outcome, the expenses, not outcome. So save, paste this, Option Shift F. This is going to be expenses, and instead of item is bigger than 0, this time it's going to be smaller than 0, and the rest is going to stay the same. So now if I replace this with expenses and replace this with income, Option Shift F to make it neater. Also the income is going to be plus and then $sign, so the income plus which is dollars, and then plus, which is because it's plus, and for the expenses minus and $sign as well. So let's save this and see how it looks. So as you can see, our expenses is minus 1,000 and our income is 3,000. Actually, we don't need this minus that I had added, so we can remove that. Now if I save this, because we already have a minus over here, so minus $1,000.